Welcome to TA Sports. Let's go.
Go! Let's get it.
Yes,
We're
sir.
here with our top 8.
Top
Dun, dun,
eight
dun.
AFL 2021 predictions. My name's Tarko and everyone calls me Taco. And we
My
got...
name's Aaron. Everyone calls me Dunny.
Isn't it? It's not Aaron. It's Aaron, isn't it?
Aaron.
There we
You
go.
done messed up.
Wait,
Wait, if I done mess up, why is everyone gonna listen to my fucking juicy tips I'm about to give?
No, predictions, mate. Get it right.
Yeah. Same thing.
Predictions.
Here we go. Top 8. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with 8. My 8th team this year.
Ladies
the
first.
Giants.
Ladies first. Let's go.
Great joke. Great dad joke. Okay, number 8 for me, we've got the Giants. I think everything went wrong for them last year.
Giants make top 8.
Jezza's going to be a huge out. Last year, he wasn't really much of a factor. I think the talent on the list is still there. The names on the paper, when I look at the GWS team each week, I'm just like, this team's going to win most of the time. It's hard to ignore that they got the talent on the list. Leon Cameron, he knows how to win. He knows how to win with them in finals. And I think they've got a bit of a chip on their shoulder this year. They've got something to prove to the competition. Everyone thought they were a little bit of playing soft footy last year, bruise-free footy last year. So I think they're going to be slip into the 8, but I think 7, 8, 9, and even 10 could be in any order. But I got Giants squeezing into the top 8 this year.
They really need Stephen Cornelio to step up and guide his team this season. Like he needs to.
But there's a lot of pressure on him too.
Yeah, he went missing a bit last season. I feel like everyone was questioning him, but he needs a good year. You know, he does need to step up and carry the troops along the line. So hopefully, they do have a good season.
What about you? Who's your 8th team?
I've got the West Coast Eagles.
Oh, so for them.
Yeah, I think they do make the top 8. I mean, you got the likes of Dom Sheed, Hearn, Darling, Kennedy, Liam Ryan. They're all damaging players. I feel like they're a high-scoring team, which is what you want in a team. A team that can come out, kick a bag. But I feel like they need to be, if they want to compete and they want to, get another premiership, they need to really focus on their defense and, get everything sorted. Tim Kelly as well, huge player in the midfield. Yeah, I feel like they will compete this year. I don't know how they're going to go with, progressing deep into the finals, but I do see them making it this year.
Nice.
And lucky number 7.
For me, 7, I have the Eagles. Speaking of the Eagles, I got the Eagles 7. Older group this year, another year older. Another injury to Elliot Leo, kind of a big out for them in the midfield. They seem to be a little bit one-paced in the midfield for me. But they got, the advantages for them is the home ground advantage. Playing at Optus Oval in Perth, it's going to be tough for teams to beat them there. If we go back to COVID living, and they got to play in a bubble and play away from Perth, that might be an issue as we saw last year. But I think Australia is pretty on top of that COVID issues. So I think Eagles 7, just a slight drop. With an aging list, and I think the teams are just going to be catching them now, be able to catch up to them. Those teams are between 6 to 12 can possibly beat them. So yeah, that's my 7. What about you?
So this one here is my Smoky. I have Hawthorn. So
wow,
I reckon this team.
That's a huge prediction.
It's a huge call. It is a huge call. I feel like Hawthorn had a great preseason. I feel like they're going to go into the season with a lot of confidence. I feel like Hawks have a lot to prove this year. Getting Tom Mitchell back into the side was a massive loss for them last season. He's a possession getter. I don't think he's potentially a game changer with his possessions, but I do feel like obviously those possessions do help a lot. I'm very excited.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I do feel like they they do make an impact, and I feel like they can surprise a few teams in the finals as well. I feel like they're going to be last year's St Kilda for this season. Maybe do some damage in the finals. If they're going to win it, I don't think they will compete with the top four, but I do feel like they will definitely probably go past round one of the finals into round two. But AFL is a strange game of footy. Anything can happen.
That's right. That's right.
And what about number 6?
Lucky 6. I got the one and only Western Bulldogs, the mighty boys from the west of Melbourne. That's my team, by the way.
As you can see by the scarf in his background there.
There you go. That's it. Subtle cues there, subtle cues for everyone watching and listening. I got the Dog 6. Great midfield. Inclusion of Treloar is going to help. But I think our biggest recruit that's going to be a huge enforcer and presence is Stefan Martin. He's going to be huge for our midfield, giving us first use of, and obviously he's going to give Tommy English a bit of a chop out. Timmy, not Tommy, Timmy English, a bit of a chop out there, and he's going to roll forward, kick some goals, and obviously help Norton up there as well, and probably Jamara when he comes in, our number 1 pick from last season. The only issue with them, I think they're pretty thin on key defenders. They obviously got Keith, but I'm not sold on Gardner yet. And their efficiency when going in 50 has always been an issue for a number of years. They can get it into the 50. It's about now converting on those inside 50s into goals. So I got them 6, but they could potentially be in the sneak into 4th spot this year if some of the wins go their way, especially the tight ones. What about you? Who's 6 for you?
I got Doggies as well. I feel like you said, do lack in the defense department, but I feel like if they have such potential this season to with the Doggies up, we've seen it over season. They always have a surprise. They always come into the game, with blistering pace. They've got such damaging players in their team. I'm very excited to see where the Doggies go this season. Obviously, you got the Bont, Norton,
Fraser, Lockie Hunter, Bailey Smith's going to probably take
Bailey
it to another
Smith,
level.
big season this one. He has to step up this season. So
if he steps up and Jamara plays well as a 3rd forward and probably takes the 3rd best defender, it's probably good for him as a rookie coming into the season, first season.
I feel like they need to drop him in the deep end. Honestly, I feel like he's got the talent, he's got the potential, and I feel like he's just one of those players where you want to slowly ease him into it, but I feel like you just got to drop a player like him into the game and just get him game time. Who knows? He comes in, scores 3 goals, gets confidence, and he could be a big player for the future. I feel like.
Yeah, but the last time a team did that with the number 1 pick, it didn't turn out well.
Forward line?
Jack Watts. Remember Jack Watts?
Yeah,
debut
true,
game against Collingwood, he just got roughed up, and I just never thought he was the same player for a long, long time.
I agree. I guess
never got to that level. So I think easing him in is probably the best idea. For 5th, I got the Saints. Great recruits this year. The early rounds they might struggle with a few injuries to the bigger guys up forward. And obviously they got Paddy Ryder out and Marshall out. That 1-2 ruck combo was huge last year, especially in the finals against the Dogs.
Played the game of his life, Paddy Ryder.
He did. He literally single-handedly put him on his back and took him over the line against us in a close match. And then obviously the week following, he was out, and then they got crushed by obviously Richmond eventual premiers. But yeah, I see Saints. They're just Saints can be either 5, 4, 3 for me, but I got them as 5th. But yeah, they can just take the next step, and then obviously I think Jackie Higgins is going to be a huge recruit around goal.
And Steele, can't forget Steele.
Jack Steele, he can take it to another level. Brad Crouch helps him. He might even be able to slide forward, kick some goals. He might poll again well this year in the Brownlow. What about you? Who's 5th are you?
Same, St Kilda. Had a great season last year. They're going to kick it right off where they left it. Just obviously getting Paddy Ryder, they're going to have to get him back into the side. I feel like when St Kilda are at full strength, they're a very damaging team. I feel like they're the one team out of the top four that can beat, that Richmond in a final or that, Brisbane or Geelong. But I don't know. I feel like St Kilda definitely number 5 for me. Could really push for a flag, go one better this year, I feel like it's their time. They've kind of been hovering over the last few seasons, and now, they've built up their team. They've got the confidence. They're raring to go. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to what Saints produce this season.
Yeah, nice.
Now for the big 4.
Top 4,
Here we go.
I'll kick us
Here
off.
we go.
We got the Cats. For me, Cats are 4th. Huge recruits, but I think it's going to take some time for them to gel. But once they get going, they're going to be hard to beat. And that home ground advantage down at Cardinia Park, it's ridiculous. Rarely teams beat them there. Even when teams get in front, they rarely stay in front. They just got that fortress. And if there's no hubs and stuff like that, Geelong are going to be hard team to beat at home and hard team to beat regardless. They just got winners on every line. So for me, I got Cats 4th only because they might start off slow with the gelling of the new players and getting into that groove again, and obviously having 1 month less preseason than most clubs because they played in the grand final. But yeah, Cats for 4 for me. What about you?
So for me, yeah, I've got Cats as well. I agree. I feel like they're gonna start off pretty slow, get used to everyone. I do see them as one of the premiership favourites this season. If they got a full strength team and everyone's rocks up for their best game. Last season's loss to Richmond, very disappointing for them. They were in the lead till the Dusty Magic came in. Great player, but I feel like Geelong learned a lot of that, and I feel like in finals football, experience really does matter. That's obviously, it speaks for itself with how Richmond played. So I feel like Geelong will take that loss and turn it into positives. They'll learn, in those tight moments of a grand final or prelim or, just final in general, they'll stand up and they'll be more confident instead of struggling with nerves, and focusing on not losing rather than focusing on winning. So I feel like Geelong, they've got the package, they've recruited well, they've recruited like they want to win now. They're not looking for.
They've recruited to win now, pretty much. If they don't win now, then there's going to might be a few lean years for them. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like best game. If they play out of the whole comp, I feel like their best game beats any other team. But we have seen the inconsistencies in the finals, and I feel like consistency is a massive key role. But who knows? Final footy does produce that, and that's what we look at the end of the day. 4th finish for Geelong is just the number. It's getting there, which is the main thing. And yeah, I guess we'll see. Hopefully they do come together at the end of the season. But I agree. I think a slow start into a spiraling snowball into greatness. That's my prediction. They really need Dangerfield to step up, Guthrie, their midfields, get Hawkins into the game, get their new recruit,
Jezza,
Jeremy Cameron, good old Jez. If they get their tour, if Jezza and Hawkins are firing, ridiculous. Like, how do you stop that? It reminds you of the Crows when they had those tools, in the finals, and they made the finals against Richmond. They just had so much attacking power. It was very hard to find, defenders to keep up with all the forward line players. But very exciting season for Geelong ahead, I'm pretty sure. So let's look forward to that. And number 3.
Yes, I have. For number 3, I got Lions. I think they got something to prove. There's not much really we can talk about the Lions. The team's good, big inclusion. Joe's going to be huge for them. They've got a good home ground advantage. Home deck's going to be hard for teams to beat them there at the Gabba. There's really not many weaknesses for the Lions other than Cam Rayner going down with the ACL before the season starts. But that is what it is. I guess it's just, someone slots in, someone gets an opportunity. They've got a good system going down there, up there in Brizzy. So yeah, huge inclusion with Joe. It's going to straighten them up a little bit more. Hipwood's probably going to get the second best defender. And then Charlie Cameron, you know what he can do. So yeah, I got Lions 3 for me. What about you?
Same thing. Brisbane Lions for me. Charlie Cameron, absolute machine. I remember when he played in his in the finals with he had an injury. I'm pretty sure it was a shoulder. He bunged his shoulder up. Still kicked 3 goals or 2 goals. Gun, absolute gun. I feel like Joe Danaher will provide a lot of crumb for him. So tall forward up there. He just needs to get some confidence. I feel like Joe Danaher. Once he gets the ball rolling, he's a great player. He's got a good future. I feel like confidence. He did lack a bit of confidence there at the end of Essendon. A fresh team should get him a bit more excited. If he gets his kicking technique right, he will be a massive impact, which is what Brisbane really need, I think. We saw last season they were very inaccurate. They could have blown teams out by over 100 points.
Definitely.
I just think accuracy. They've had a few years now in the finals for that experience. Maybe this is the year where they go one better and make the grand final. I feel like once they're there, the injuries is really, I feel like, a massive important role for Brisbane as well. They have such a strong team, but missing a Charlie Cameron in the finals, missing a Neil, missing like these key players, I really feel like can really put holes through Brisbane. So I'm very interested to see how they take it, especially at the start of the season. See how they come out, produce, see if they take up where they left last year. Same thing with Geelong, really. Are they going to use their experience and do one better, or are they just going to sit in finals and really make an impact? But
I agree.
Yeah, so I've got them at number 3. Now, for the 2 big teams. Now, I feel like you and me are very similar with our final 6. So, who's your number 2? Is it a surprise?
No surprise here. It's the Tigers. Can't go wrong with them. They know how to win. They've been there before. They won on the big stage. They won away. They won at home. They just know how to win games. And then, last year they won the premiership at the Gabba. Years before that, they were winning at the MCG and they were unbeatable at the MCG. Post-COVID times, if they go back to hubs, they'll be right. If they're, there's no hub situation this season, it's going to be tough for teams to beat them at the MCG. They didn't lose anyone. They didn't really gain anyone. They don't really need to gain anyone. They got the best finals player, I think, of all time, Dusty, and he's fit for round 1. So that's probably pretty menacing for the opposition. I just see the Tigers, and they time the run. I've noticed they time their run really well. They have in the maybe middle of the season a small patch where they're down in the momentum, and then the systems aren't working really well, and then we obviously think that there's a chink in the armor, and then this might be the year that they lose in the finals, and then they come finals times, and even the weeks before that, they just start rolling, and then they just build that momentum and winning momentum, and they're hard to stop in the finals. So yeah, I've got Tigers for second. What about you?
Same here. Tigers, they just keep getting better. They're just full of confidence at the moment. And you saw all those years with Tigers with ninth. I feel like it's a bit of justice for the supporters. They've got one of the great all-time teams at the moment, same with the Hawks era. They're creating their own dynasty at the moment. I feel like led by Dusty, what can't he do? I still remember in the grand final, the shrug on Dangerfield, snapping that goal. He's just, who does that? Who palms Dangerfield? He just brings so much energy to the game. He really lifts the team. They may be down by 3 goals, final quarter starts, Dusty comes out, kicks an unreal round potential winning goal. And it's just crazy what he can do to a team. Revolt up there, obviously, Lynch, Prestius, and he's just, the team is stacked. You could go through all 22 players, and you could just be excited about every single one of them.
Yeah, I feel like this season, and they got good role players as well that just do the key role. They 100%. Only got a couple superstars, but they just got role players that just do their job really well.
In those moments, in those key moments, the smothers, the spoils, the contested marks, they've just got it all. And I feel like they'll definitely be up there. I've got them in the grand final again. I don't know who will it be against. Well, it doesn't really matter. I feel like it will be a close game either way. It's either going to be the passing of the baton or it's going to be the dynasty. So who knows? I'm very excited this season. It's kind of, there's a lot of teams you never know what you're going to get, but with Richmond, I feel like you know what you're going to get. You're going to turn up. You're going to play your best footy to even have a chance to beat them. So
yeah, definitely.
Richmond number 2 for me. And now the number 1.
Minor premiers. I think we've got the same team. I think
got a bit too excited. Oops.
I think you did. For me, Port Adelaide. I think they should have won it last year. They just, got beaten by a goal on their home deck against the premiers. So there's not much more they could have done. So yeah, they minimal injury list also helps preseason wise. Huge inclusions. Alir, Orazio at both ends. Alir in the preseason games were just dominating. Intercept marks, rebounding, and he's a tall defender, key defender, which will help if they do face Richmond with their Lynch and Rewalt, obviously, as the taller forwards. And maybe Mackenzie could play on Dusty because he did have his way with Burn Jones in that final. Only issue with Port Adelaide is maybe Rosie out for a little bit. But other than that, huge preseason for them. Hinkley's and the team, they got a chip in their shoulder in Port Adelaide. They're the number 1 team in Adelaide now. They got that mantle. I think that's one of the things that was holding them back for a little bit there when Adelaide were on their run. They got that mantle now. They're the number 1 team in SA. They were 1 kick away from a grand final against the Premiers anyway. So yeah, they got the home ground deck advantage, minimal injuries at the moment. So yeah, Port Adelaide for me, minor Premiers, continuing what they did last year. And then I think they might go one better and make a grand final. But season predictions for premiers and medals and awards will be after this. Anyways, who's your number 1?
So obviously 1 team left. We've got to go with Port Adelaide. So I want to take you back to 2017 in their final game against West Coast. Obviously, they lost a heartbreaking overtime game. They've had a few close calls over the years. I feel like they're the team that's just been there. They're exciting. This could be the year. I feel like if there's a team to knock off Richmond in a final, you got to make it there first. But I feel like it's Port. I watched them humiliate my footy team on the preseason. Alir killed it. They're just the quickest team. You never know, they're a fast-scoring team. They're stacked with, they've got Bogue, they've got Fantasia now coming to the team. Charlie Dixon's up there. Ollie Wines, he's a possession getter. He's a game changer. Robbie Gray, the list goes on. These players are superstars. I think their time, it's their time now. A lot of teams, they really don't get a lot of consistent time in the top in finals, especially with the age of players. Players come and go, but I feel like this is really a time that Port have to kick it into gear. And now, instead of losing by that overtime, they need to win.
Yeah, and definitely.
I feel like the obvious prediction is Port Adelaide win in the last minutes of the grand final. That's what my prediction is. Could go either way, obviously, but minor premiers, Port. And we'll get into our actual predictions for the Coleman, the Brownlow, Premiership now, Rising Star. So let's go with you first, sir.
For me, let's go with, obviously we already did minor premiers, Wooden Spooners. Minor premiers for me, Port, Wooden Spooners, Kangaroos.
Same.
For me, Rising Star, it's got to be Matt Rao. Other than an injury, nothing is going to stop Matt Rao from winning this Rising Star. Other than an injury, if he does get injured, Smokies for me, Elijah Hollins for the Hawks. He's going to get midfield time minutes. and Logan McDonald for the Swans, the forward. They're going to put games in him, especially if Buddy can't get on the track. And if Buddy does get on the track, it's going to help McDonald even more to learn off a player like that. So they're my rising star predictions. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you, Elijah Holland for the rising star for Hawks. I feel like I said, I've got Hawks up in the top 7. I feel like, he has a lot to bring to the team.
Is he your Smokey or is he your pick?
That's my pick. Oh, other than Matt Rowell, obviously. Matty Rowell, he can't lose it unless he does get injured, like you said. But I don't think it's fun talking about Matt Rowell because he's 100% to win it if he doesn't get injured. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I'm just going to go off with my Smokey. So I agree with you of that one.
Mm-hmm. Coleman Medal, you can go first.
Who's gonna win the Coleman Medal? If he, I want to say Tex. Nah, I wish. I reckon Joey Danaher. Honestly, I feel like if he gets confidence and he gets the forward entry that Brisbane can give, I feel like he can be that tall forward that can kick those goals. Obviously, Brisbane had, I think, the most forward entries last season out of any other team. They didn't convert though, but if they do get it in there, Joey gets his confidence. He starts marking. I think he can kick 5-6 goals, in those games.
Easy.
Yeah. There is so many contenders, but for me, I would like to spice it up a bit and give the old Joey a good chance for that award.
What about Smokey? Any Smokies?
Smokies.
Other than Tex Walker?
I wish. If Tex won a Coleman, I'll do a nudie run around the block, I'd say. Smokies. Let me think about it. I don't know. I feel like there's, I wouldn't say Smokies, but there's a lot of contenders I feel that can win it this year. You've got obviously the likes of Jezza in Geelong if he stays uninjured. He does miss, I think, the first few rounds, so that will obviously set him back. You got Hawkins, who knows what you're going to get with him. Has big years, has missing years. Geelong need him to stand up this year. Lynch as well. But who knows? We've even got the small forwards, with Charlie Cameron. He's a potential one that can obviously bag a lot of goals. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be a big man this year. And I'm going the old Danaher. What about yourself? Who's your Smokey? Start off with your Smokey.
Smokey, I think I'd love him at the Dogs, actually. He's developing well. And
no bias.
It's Harry Mackay as my Smokey. He's taken the mantle from Casbolt. He's the big guy up there now. They kick to him. They got Williams in the midfield now. Saad as well, probably better delivery than they had before previously. Natural improvement as well. So Harry Mackay is my Smokey. And if Carlton win more games, he's going to kick more goals. It's that simple. He's the man up there to kick the goals. But my winner, I think it's going to be Tom Lynch. Richmond, they obviously share the footy, but Tom Lynch knows how to find the footy and he knows how to kick bags of goals too. I think that there might be a focus on Richmond. I don't know, but I think Lynch is the pick for me. I just think Joey Danaher, there's a learning curve in regards to the new team, and the coach might want him to play in a ruck or something like that, free up some other players. So yeah, for me, I'm going to go with Tom Lynch as my winner. Smokey, Harry Mackay. What about you? The Brownlow medal. This is the
Brownlow. So two players come to mind. Two players. So it's hard to win back to back. Obviously, we know it's extremely hard. Lachie Neale, what can you say? He's a great player. He knows how to get votes. But I think this year, I feel like consistent wise, I'm going to have to go Dusty. He's a gun. He's an absolute gun. He can poll the votes.
Umpires know who he is.
They definitely know who he is. For example, like you look at his Norm Smiths as well. Like he does enough. He does those game changing goals and
moments,
play. and that's the ones that the umpires and the fans and everyone just that remembers, the palm snaps. I just feel like Dusty for me this year. If he has a good season, yeah, I just don't see him losing. Like I would like to say Neil, but back to back too hard.
What about Smokey?
Smokey for me, Petrarca, I reckon. I rate him as a Smokey this season.
He's not really a Smokey, but yeah, okay.
I call him a Smokey. I'll call him a Smokey. I don't feel like last season he was, I didn't really rate him too crazy. I feel like he did well, but if Melbourne have a good year, I think Petrarca can come out and take it out. So what about you?
Fair enough. For me, I think it's out of two players really. I think I'm going to go with Cripps and Dusty. Dusty because previous winner, knows how to find a footy, knows how to win a Brownlow. Umpires know him. He's had a good pre-season from what his coach has said. So that's ominous thing for the opposition. So yeah, is this going to be tough?
Sorry, 1 second. Can I just get my dictionary out and just search what that word means?
But yeah, it's going to be tough. I think it's pretty open, but I'm going to go with Dusty or Cripps. Cripps, I think it's the year now. He's got support around him, but the support doesn't get votes, which helps. Same as Dusty, like Cochin, Lynch, Rewalt don't really get votes, and he's the guy that really stands out. For me, a Smokey depends on how the team performs, but he's a vote getter in a team that has a lot of young kids. And I'm going to go with Luke Parker as my Smokey. He polled really well last year. Swans didn't do well last year, so if they get a couple more wins, it could turn into more votes. So Parker is my Smokey. And who's your? Yeah.
No, I was going to say, what do you reckon the biggest story of the season will be this year at the season end? What do you reckon the biggest story will be?
A tricky one.
Tricky one, you reckon?
I don't know.
I think there's two stories for me. One is Crows win the premiership. Great story to that one will be. But I think
that's a good fairy tale. Yeah, but yes. Sorry, what was that?
Cripps to Fremantle, I feel will be a big story. I feel like that's my prediction. Carlton don't do enough to show him promising. He's one of the great young players, obviously coming into the game. I feel like he is held back a bit by his current footy team, and he's a Western Australian boy, so I feel like he will go. West Coast can't afford him. Let's be honest. They got Tim Kelly in there. I feel like Fremantle need a player like him up there. Center midfield player can kick goals. I feel like that'll be the story of the season. But Dusty takes.
I got two bombshells. Okay, one bombshell.
Bombshells.
Not really a bombshell, but like a big story. Richmond complete the three-peat. And
that's definitely not a bombshell, but
win another flag. And my bombshell is Alistair Clarkson is a coach of another club in 2022.
You reckon?
Yeah, that's my bombshell. And another
Which
one. Now thinking of the bombshells.
Well, now they're popping up.
Yeah, I know. Now, give it a little bit of thought. Then, you putting me on the spot. Could be. I've heard it before. Rumblings.
Whisperings in the winds. Okay.
Ross Lyon comes back and coaches one of the big clubs in Melbourne.
So like a WWE return, you reckon?
WWE return. That's right.
Lights go out. Ross Lyon walks down to the ring. Hey, in a new club. Okay.
Yeah, so Ross Lyon might be a coach of one of the big four Melbourne clubs this next year.
Oh, awesome.
What about your Premier's prediction?
I think Geelong win it. I feel like when the package is there, I feel like their experience last season's grand final is a lot for them. It's just really depends, like in the prelims and who knocks out who. I feel like Richmond makes it again, but who knows? Maybe Port Adelaide beat Richmond, knock them out, and that was their grand final, and they lose to Geelong. But Port Adelaide, on their best game, obviously can beat anyone. So it's going to be. I feel like it will be a nail-biting final. I feel like it goes down to the wire this year, but I do have Geelong. I feel like they're the best team on paper at their best footy.
Yeah, I got Port Adelaide. I just think it's their time. I think they might have the easy road in the finals. They might knock off. I think they're going to finish minor premiers, so they might knock off maybe a Doggies or a Saints in that first week of the finals, and then I think they take the mantle and beat Richmond in the prelim, and then they had cruise in the grand final against whoever they meet there. That's my prediction.
Awesome. Well,
sweet. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening, watching. Appreciate all the support. Hit the like button, subscribe, and keep a lookout for our next videos.